Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone watching today's segment. In today's episode, we have another special guest. One of my most exciting guests is Gamo. He is the CEO and one of the owners of Air Canada PTFS, one of the largest airlines in PTFS in the community. Gamo, I just want to say thank you for coming into this segment. Um, yeah, dude, I love what you do. Is there anything you want to say to the people watching before we start the segment?
Well, just hello, and Tito, thank you for having me here. No, just very happy to be here. It's very rare that I get to talk about the journey and everything that I've gone through with Air Canada, or just in general. So yeah, very happy to be here, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, of course. Now, every time when I start a segment, I always ask this question: how did you start your journey building your rank up as a CEO and one of the owners of Air Canada? How did that journey begin?
Yeah, so my main like focus mostly going like 2024 this is me being about 16 17 years of age. I mostly focus on 8024. I built up the ranks to be a helper over there, which is now a moderator rank. So that was my main focus, but because I'd focused on it for so long, I really missed working in the airline side of PTFS, the airline communities, because that's where I actually where I came up from before 8024. So I thought, after seeing like advertisements, all these new communities on the rise, I thought, you know what, I'll go back in because I just loved being a pilot. That was really only why I was part of the communities. I just like flying the planes with passengers in. So I joined Air Canada in January of 2025. I joined as a pilot. I attended a few flights. I was active, and they did promotions like completely or like surprisingly. You don't get notified or anything. You just see like you've been pinged. No, okay, promotion, nice. So I got promoted to a staff manager rank, which basically meant that I managed the junior staff that were all roles, and I was more there, kind of leading before the high ranks. Um, I then was promoted to a shift manager, which is our equivalent rank of basically our flight hosts at the moment. Um, but then there was one day, I think it was April 17th, 2025, where I got like a message, basically the early hours in the morning. I think it's like 1 a.m. And it's Tattoo who's basically said that I want to retire. I recommend Gamo and Cone, who's a colleague of mine in the board, to be the next owners. Uh, and so we kind of went through a long discussion. Well, not really long. It was literally half an hour between him telling us that he wanted to resign, and then he put the formal announcement out. And then after that, we spent time on how it was going to work. And me and Carl had discussions on how we wanted to lead the project. And then we decided I was fit to become CEO, which was weird at the time because it's not normal where you jump from a flight host rank to the leader of a server. So it was controversial almost. It was a big Tattoo had to put lots of trust in me for it, but yeah, he definitely tells me that he's glad that he trusted his intuition. He keeps on saying like it's never wrong or anything. So yeah, definitely was a wild decision and one that was unexpected. But well, the rest is history.
Well, let's talk more about this unexpected jump and like how did you deal with that? Like how did that go? How did you deal with that? How did that go from that unexpected jump and also having the pressure of having that trust from Tato. Like how was that jump? Like how did you get through it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I've had experience working for multiple airlines, especially some of the big ones that were back during COVID times, like after COVID. Um, so I kind of knew about how things did work, and I was able to offer that side of experience because the group that Tattoo had, um, they just loved it for the community side, and they also were very good at what they did. But they did appreciate my input. There was a time where actually he, as a staff manager, what I was, he actually let me host a meeting on flights because people were kind of concerned about the activity. And I gained quite a bit of respect from it, maybe most notably from Tattoo. Um, but going back to when he actually decided that he wanted me to own the server alongside Carl, I was a bit conflicted because it was my last year of school. I was in year 13, which is basically A levels, which is our end of year exams before we then go into university or college, wherever you are in the world. Um, so it's a busy time of year, and to take on a server which has lost most of its staff, it's new, well, it's in a rebuild phase. It takes a lot of time to kind of put it in, and get on with it. And so that would basically mean I'd sacrifice some of the time I could put towards exams. Um, but because I was lucky enough to already have an offer accepted to university somewhere, and that was the requirements didn't actually have too much of an impact on how good my exams were, but it was still a very good school. I was already committed to that path, and I thought, you know what, I won't get an opportunity like this to own a server and basically try and run it how I wanted to. I felt that at 18 or 17 actually was at the time, I felt I was old enough and I had experience to be able to trust my intuition and hire the right people, run the server how I wanted to, and take it to somewhere where it could like thrive eventually. And I just thought, you know what, why not? But I will be honest, I did think also, I made it very clear to my staff that I'm probably going to make this a temporary thing for me. Like, I think at the end of summer, when I start university, I'm going to hop out and let you guys run it after it's built its foundation. But I couldn't after the growth it just had, the popularity it had, and then also the fact that my workload at university was quite easy, and I could balance it really well with running the server. So yeah, it was conflicting, but it was a decision which I just thought, you know what, you're not going to get an opportunity like this, so why not give it a go? And what's the worst that can happen?
So we're going to be talking about balancing your life between airline and your personal life. Was there is there a sacrifice that you did have to make to get to where you are right now? Or was it more of it's like it didn't really have an impact because you were able to, you know, focus on your priorities and but if not, was there a sacrifice that you had to make once you became the
Um,
CEO?
yeah, I will say it's. I think unless you actually have owned a server, you won't feel how hard it is to keep the consistency and also keep the persistence to keep going. May Basically April, May, June, they were hard months because I was still building my staff core. Um, I had also decided that, you know what, we're going to open a new server for AC24 operations, which is like an AC24 career program. That's worked out now perfectly. I think other airlines have actually decided to include that in their airlines too. So I'm very happy that did work out. But balancing both of them, the workload was insane. And because also you run a server called Air Canada, you're going to naturally attract interest from across the pond because I'm British, and most of my staff, especially key figures, are over in America or Canada. So I definitely would say I'd be lying if I didn't say that I have had many a late night where I've been up till like 2 or 3 a.m., 4 a.m. even, basically going working with those American staff that have those evenings free. Because usually when I have my evening free, people are still at school. Um, it definitely had an impact on my studies. I'm just grateful that it didn't have an impact on where I was going next year, or like basically for my university. But I would be lying if I didn't say that I did sacrifice a little bit of my time, which maybe could have been put to other things. But looking back, I'm one of those people where it's like I'm grateful when I can provide something which people love. And just seeing the amount of popularity that it's grown, and you kind of reflect, it's like I don't regret it. I acknowledge it's a sacrifice, but I'm glad I stuck through because it's a surreal feeling being like, okay, you've just provided a community that 10,000 people can enjoy.
What's something people don't know about running one of the biggest airlines in PTFS? What's something people don't know? Like, what's the challenges of running an airline?
Good question. So I'd say running an airline in general, you have to make sure you're on to everything. People will ask for your opinions or ask for you to do things here and there. You have tasks non-stop. So your list of to do things never stop, and if they do, then you kind of need to take a look and be like, okay, hang on, something's not right here. Uh, and so running the server at its full capacity, um, being now at 10,000, I'd actually say it it makes the things that were harder to begin with easy. I have staff. The management team, I've have people who've worked there for months now, and they know the system, they know everything. I trust my flight operations. So I, for one, don't have to host flights. They come naturally to my staff. Um, Whereas like a year ago, I would have to host and almost do multiple roles. So that's a challenge which is different. Um, but then I think one of the big challenges of actually running a big server is the trust you put in people. I'm grateful the fact that I've got a team which they've not let me down once. This is the board of directors. It's just a group of 10 or so people who each are able to basically be leaders of their own in certain areas of the group. And but one of the big things I've struggled with is, especially from the beginning, was just letting go, being like, okay, I need to be able to trust people to do this. I don't want to do everything on my own. I can't do everything on my own. Um, and especially when you have a large community, in the end of the day, you can't look at everything. There's too much to look at. So having that trust is a challenge, but I mean, it's worked out. And if you hire the right people, especially from the beginning, then yeah, they turn into more than just colleagues. They're your friends, and yeah, they don't let you down. So that's a challenge. I think the other one also is just reputation. You have to make sure you don't get caught in drama of any sort. We try and maintain a neutral ground as much as possible. It's very key when it comes to decision making, especially when it comes to how you represent yourself to the community. But I think we've done a good job in maintaining a neutral stance, and overall, people do appreciate and like what we do as a community. So we've done that well, hopefully.
Okay, so I have two follow-up questions from the answers that you gave me. So you said that one of the biggest obstacles was finding trust in your staff, because that is obviously a very big thing. My question for you is, have you ever had to fire a high-ranking executive who was also a close friend? Like, not even a close friend, but any high-ranking members, did you ever have to fire them? And if so, why? And you don't have to talk about it, but we could cut this from the interview, but I just want to know, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a tricky one. That's really tricky. Um, well, first and foremost, what I would say is that I wouldn't consider anyone to be a close friend of mine on Discord within the PTFS community, and the only reason behind that is because of my close friends that I have outside of Discord. They're incomparable to the friendships that I build on here. But again, with that being said, I've built plenty of friendships and I've grown close to plenty of people, and that is true still to this day. And it's very much the case with this person who I'm about to talk about. He was a phenomenal person. He was absolutely incredible, had a fantastic personality, people loved him, and yeah, he was just a really outstanding person within the Air Canada PTFS community. So it was natural for him to get a board position because we felt like his input could be really beneficial. And for me, on a personal note, I loved it because I really connected with him and we could have conversation going on for ages. And so I really respected him. I considered him to be a friend. And I was like, there is nothing negative about him being in the position he is. And it was well deserved. There was just something that happened basically with a situation unfolding with a management member who was going through a really hard time. Unfortunately, the way that he would process it would be that it would impact on his relationships with people who would consider him to be their friends. And so there were so many incidents that happened as a result of it, and it wasn't his fault. He was going through a hard time, and it just meant that it reflected on other people. So I was left in a very harsh predicament where I was battling between what do I do in terms of helping, because I've got people who are struggling because of the instance caused by the person going through a hard time. And naturally, when I'm struggling to make a decision myself, or I want to gain more further understanding or perspective, I go to my board, because sometimes they have extra details, or sometimes they provide insight which I wouldn't know if I just kept to my own instincts. Now, the person who we hired and I consider to be a friend, he took it on a personal level with the situation and decided to reach out to the person um, who was going through a hard time. And basically, it just went too far, their connection, to a point that he broke a rule because of it. And it was so serious to the point where we were like, yeah, we have to fire him because he broke trust. And so I thought I'd handle it, because personally I knew it wouldn't really matter too much to him, because he wasn't really here because he was aspiring to be a very high board member. The role didn't matter to him, it was more the community, which I respected. So I thought it would be a very easy conversation. And truth be told, we didn't really talk too much about the rank itself, but the situation was a completely different story. Um, we had completely opposing views. I, for one, needed to protect my community, but he grew personal towards the person who was struggling, which is understandable, but it just meant that it impacted on so many other people, and we couldn't help him. So they both left, and it was a hard time for me personally, because the conversation was so hard. Um, yeah, it was it was really difficult, because it was harsh words both left, right, and center, and it was my last conversation with him, and I had to block him because it just kept on going, and I needed to put a stop to it, and it was, yeah, overwhelming, I'd say. And so, yeah, we move on. I hope they're both doing well, but yeah, we haven't heard from them since, and I'm sure everything's okay. And yeah, we move on.
So my question is, as a CEO, and when it comes to your leadership skills and pivoting, you take care of all of you have a lot of pressure, especially with all the problems that comes. My question for you is, are you a strict CEO with your staff, or are you pretty chill?
Let's just say I acknowledge that this is a game. It's not like we're running a massive corporate entity or anything where like there's high stakes. I'd say I'm chill, but I'm firm when I need to be. Um, there are people within my board who do kind of think I'm soft in some ways, but some situations I feel like can just air out, and they work themselves in the end of the day. I don't think they require someone to be a telling off voice. In the end of the day, they're colleagues. They're not. It's not like I'm supposed to be lecturing people. I've had to in some instances, because sometimes things do get away from you. I think one instance we had to suspend two people because they just continued doing the same thing over and over again between the two. I won't go into detail because they're absolutely fine now. But it's like, I'd say I'm more firm with my punishments rather than, doing a shouting, because there's no point wasting your voice on that. But apart from that, I'm chill. As- Everyone knows. Hopefully, I hope so. I will say it's quite funny. I do get the occasional passenger which is like, "Oh, Gamo's scary." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I promise. I'm really not." But yeah, so I think it's just the rank does tend to have its own reputation where it's like, oh yeah, you can't do much with it. But I'd rather the stigma be changed to where it's like, you don't need to be afraid, but equally there should be some level of respect you do give to it. So as long as that stigma's changed, because sometimes people exchange respect for they need to be scared of it, which I don't want that reputation to be upheld.
Hmm, okay. If another huge group offered you a massive amount of money to buy Air Canada, would you sell it?
Nope. That's a trap. It's because Discord TOS, it's not legal to do it. So definitely no. Oh yeah, no, you're not allowed to sell your servers. You can get called out for it big time. So I wouldn't sell it anyway. I will say, even if it was legal, I wouldn't sell it. Um, I kind of accepted a long time ago that this is not going to be like a thing which generates money or income of any kind. And I'm not interested if someone offers me like a gazillion Robux, because in the end of the day, what I'm going to use it for. Yeah, you can exchange it, but the rate's terrible. I might as well. I'm happier giving it away to people who will actually spend it in game, because that's the only way it's worth something. But yeah, no, I wouldn't sell it for anything. I want the community to kind of have its existence until at least the game then ends up dying away, which hopefully it doesn't. So yeah, I'll be here for a long time, and I don't think I will sell it off at all.
Understood. If you could go back to day one of taking over Air Canada, what is the number one piece of advice you'd give to yourself?
That's so tricky.
Take your
Because
time,
I
brother.
yeah, that is really tricky, because like I'm looking back on it. I have been looking back because we've got our own project coming up with our media channels. Um, but yeah, looking back on the journey, I don't know if I want to change anything because of how good it's become. I can't. It's like I can't almost picture us being in a better position than we are. Um, I would kind of tell myself not to overwork yourself. I would say there are some days where I burnt out. The days after, like the actual, like I think 2 or 3 days after I got given the role of CEO, I had barely any sleep because I was just focused on trying to build that platform. And I was like, you know what, I've only got a few days left of holiday. I don't mind if I lose sleep here and there, so then I can actually, you know what, at school just relax a bit and I have everything set out. That didn't work out. I still had to work quite hard when I was in school time still. So yeah, I guess I would say don't overwork yourself, but equally just giving advice to myself back then, it's just I struggle to picture a place or like an alternative path where we're in a better position than we currently are. So yeah, that's a very tricky question.
Good, brother. Um, what is the number one thing that separates Air Canada PTFS from every other failed Roblox airline?
Uh, well, I wouldn't say everyone has failed. I think every airline that's come out has done. They've done something to succeed in some area, and I always see, you always see every now and then, like a CEO has said or a chairman, like I'm shutting down. This is my last time. I'd rather people who do that feel like they can shut down on a high and they can be like, you know what, I've done this. So I would never call anyone's community failed, because to one person at least, you've provided somewhere which someone's been able to be happy about it. But anyway, um, I'd say with Air Canada, the what one thing I'm grateful at is the fact I've been able to provide a community which is able to provide large server events, because back then it used to be only 8024 which could provide those events, but even then the community there, you have to be skillful in communications, and loads of people tend to not be or not want to go down that route. They want to just enjoy the game. So it's such a casual experience, like the large server flights, but it's so fun. And so being able to provide that, that's a very big thing that separated us from everyone. And I want to acknowledge that rather than say, you know what, we did everything else right. But equally also, um, the people I hired, they weren't like famous figures from the PTC community. They weren't like people who, had the high reputation. There's loads of people who've built their thing with Air Canada from the ground up, including myself. Um, and I feel like I'm happy with the people I've trusted and put my faith in. So I think that's also one as well, which in the end of the day, that's not also somewhere I've basically distinguished myself from others. I've just been very lucky with the people I've had. So yeah, that's another thing.
Mhm. What is the most important trait that you look for when hiring staff to ensure the group stays successful?
I want them to share the same values that I try and uphold with my community. And it actually stems back to tattoo, because the reason why I liked Air Canada even before becoming CEO is because the guys just enjoyed. They had fun. There was no toxicity. At least they showed outside of closed doors to like your members and your community. there was no toxicity at all, and it's very. I mean, I'm not saying it's rare, but like it's a nice feeling to kind of walk into a community with that, and that be the present feeling you feel. Um, so I wanted to keep that going because I really admired Tatu for trying his absolute best, and he did a really good job at it to uphold that value of community and connection with each other. So yeah, that's a one thing I look for. I look for someone who shares that same value, where they appreciate everyone, they respect everyone, rather than being a bit more like I should have a more respect than others, and I should be a bit more held to a higher standard. Um, there's also the fact that I want people who are passionate, and then also they put the work in. I don't want someone who will just take the rank and then sit back. If they can put the work in, I'm not asking them to put hours and hours and overwork themselves. But I'll mention a couple people here. David, he's wonderful. He basically redefined our operations, but he also understood. It took him time, but he's now understood the community side of things, and he's really come out of his comfort zone in that regard. But that for me, he balanced workload and community very well. Another person, Infi, he's my chief of marketing. He's incredible. Like honestly, he's almost like another version of me. I've almost said in past, and I connect with him really well. And loads of the community love him. He's like a really, really resounding figure in Air Canada. But also, he works his ass off. Excuse the language. He works so hard. He's behind our media creations. Runs a department in our PR and marketing. So yeah, I mean those two are good examples. There's plenty of others as well, but if I was to list them all, then we'd be here well past an hour. So I'll just list those two off as a core examples where they share the community values, but they work hard as well, and they're passionate. So both of them, they carry the same values I hold.
Um, what is the harsh, harsh truth about running a Roblox airline that nobody wants to admit?
Um, oh, that's really tough because I don't want to come off as condescending almost, but it is the workload. I think people, when they start up an airline, um, they're like, yeah, well, it's going to be fine. We'll grow as normal. Like, if anyone can do it, I can too. But you can't sit back. You can't just like not put work in and just expect results. It's like, I mean, I've seen plenty of your podcasts and content creators who have come on have said the exact same thing. You need consistency. And that's definitely not a trait that doesn't translate into the community side of Discord. um, if you're consistent with your advertising, with your events, with your flights, or with anything just to basically keep the community active, people will join. But if you just expect results to come at your feet, they won't. People sometimes think that yeah, I'm one to talk because of course I've actually benefited a lot from um, the large server events and the partnerships I've done, but it's at the end of the day, I did have to grow the community to 1,000 first before that even came as an opportunity. And so, rebuilding a server and having the faith put in me by my core staff, and then growing us to 1,000, um, that itself was a workload. And yeah, I mean that's probably the toughest I had to work. And it does take time. And there were days where no results came, where I wouldn't have any passengers for flights, but I'd say, you know what, this is practice. Let's just continue. Um, you just can't give up. And it's consistency. You won't see results straight away. So I just think that people need to understand that. And if they are able to respect it and then understand it's a journey, results will come naturally.
Okay, so I have a question, more of a, I mean, you could say it could be maybe a burden of leadership, but I'm not trying to like contradict, you know.
Hmm.
I'll ask the question real quick, right? So, does being the CEO of a huge Roblox airline actually feel fun anymore, or does it
Oh
feel like a second job?
no, it's terrible. No, I'm joking. Honestly, it's not. It's really, um, yeah. That's a. I'm not going to sit here and say it's terrible. It's like the worst thing ever. It's honestly it has its ups and downs. There are days where it's like sometimes, especially now, I have been a bit more on the slacking side than normal, let's say, compared to myself when I was younger, where I would be like hours and hours on here just because as I've gone older, I've kind of acknowledged what I've missed in terms of spending time with people around me, people who make a difference, like in my life outside of the online world. And I've kind of been just going through that process, and with that, my time on Discord's come like down a lot more than, let's say, what it used to be in the past. But I wouldn't say it's not fun. Um, I'd say it's rewarding more than anything. And actually, the fun parts is the things that, the events, you kind of go back to your roots. I love to attend a flight every now and then to like kind of, be amidst my staff. I don't want to be like just segregated from everyone and they just do the job for me. I love being able to just be intermingle with the community. And like our game nights is such a fun thing for me. The flights still have the exact same reaction I do. They're not tiring. I love every bit of it. I love the pressure. I think that comes from my AC24 background with being an event ATC and then a helper. But yeah, no, I still love every aspect of being CEO. It's just I think that definitely I've put less time into it than in the past, just as I'm starting to acknowledge my real life commitments.
If you could pass the crown to anybody else right now and leave with zero guilt, who would you trust with Air Canada?
Uh, I don't want to say that properly because I don't want to give them an ego boost because I feel like every time,
Mm.
in the end of the day, it's a big commitment. I
Yeah.
have people in mind, and I think actually I've kept it towards my board. Um, because I have been thinking about passing the crown over and simply being a server owner and spectating and just being having less of the pressure. I have been. I wouldn't say I'm lying if I said I haven't been thinking about it because I kind of now acknowledged, like I said in my previous question, that my time is being also spent elsewhere. So I'm not just always chronically online, as people would say. Um, yeah, if I look at my activity, we have like a bot in the server, and we have like a chart bot which shows the user activity, like your voice activity, your message activity, and I'm well below like top 30, I'd say, in the server, or like top 20, I'd say. I'll give myself a bit more credit, but I do have a couple of people in mind. They already know that it's coming to them,
Mhm.
and the board team, which is my core of trust, they know too. So there is something that will happen, and it will probably happen sooner than people think.
Do you believe that everything comes to an end?
Yes.
Okay.
Simple as that. I mean, I think it's a different thing. I think in the end of the day, yeah, as in where I am right now, I know that this will come to an end, but the memories are everlasting. I don't. This is such a massive chapter for me because, uh, I mean, through school, I wasn't necessarily popular. Let's say, I mean, I was well known. I did everything I could, and yeah, I wouldn't regret anything I did really in school. Um, but I think being on here, I really loved the aspect of the fact that I've just provided and I've been able to build something where people can connect and they enjoy and they use their pastime, like their free time, on here. It's such a nice feeling, and that will stay with me for a while. Like I've been able to do that, and I think everyone who works and is a critical role within the community also feels the same. Like they've done something which they would never have anticipated. I mean, we passed 10K recently, like really recently. And just seeing that number, it's like you reflect completely, and you're like, okay, you've just done this, and everyone had the exact same feeling, who works closely with me, and so yeah, I think while yeah, I acknowledge my time is numbered for sure, especially with my age and well, what's happening with Roblox and maybe Discord with the whole restrictions of how people can communicate now. I disagree with it, but in the end of the day, safety is safety. Yeah, I know my days are numbered, but I know that I will be able to be proud of what I've done, and the memories will last for sure.
Do you think running Air Canada has changed your actual personality in real life?
Um, that's really hard. You've got great questions. I was like Wes said it in his interview, but then it's very true. You do have incredible questions. They're
Thank
real
you.
thinkers. They are. I'm
Yeah.
really on to think. I thought, yeah, this is not easy at all.
Take your time, brother.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, it's like a water break in or something.
Yeah. Yeah, take your water break, man.
Oh God, what was the question again? I just lost it.
Do you think okay, all good. Do you think running Air Canada has changed your actual personality in real life?
Yes. Okay. Good question. I'll be honest. No, because in the end of the day, I ran Air Canada to how I wanted to. I didn't change myself in order to run Air Canada. I my personality is what you see it. Like the way I talk to you, I'd talk to anyone. Um, And so I've always been transparent with that. I've always maintained the same values I had already. I'd say that was just thanks to my parents and the community and the school I've been brought up in, just the people around me in my real life who have made me who I am. And especially when you're at my age, and when you're older than, let's say, your general member, that's a part of the PTC, no one can really convince you to change who you are. It's a bit more harder when you're younger and you've got older people above you. They are more influential, and I completely understand and respect that. But yeah, being a part of this community, I change nothing about who I am. I've learned for sure. I've learned things, and there's definitely been experiences and moments where I've been the CEO, where I've had lessons that have definitely come my way. But in terms of my actual personality, no, it hasn't changed, and I've just been glad that people have been able to see it and actually bond with it as well. And I've gotten loads of friends from it, which is always a plus.
No, I'm just
Part of the blooper
thinking.
reel.
Yeah. Before we end today's segment,
Yep.
what is that one message that you would like your staff, your board members, your community to know? What's that message you want everyone to hear?
One of those classic questions where you're like, okay, I'm going to look into the camera for this one. um, that's so hard. Yeah, that's a so that was my community, my staff, my management, and my board. Okay. Um, yeah. Well, I'm looking to the camera, but of course my Roblox isn't. But anyway, um, I'll start with each and every one of them. My community. This is like going to sound like my always my like tribute messages in my announcements channel. But yeah, my community. Thank you. First and foremost, because at the end of the day, it grows and you're a part of it. So I'm yeah, I'm really grateful that you're able to connect with the community and find your place within it. And yeah, if you're looking to work for us, of course your time will come. I'd say be patient because it's a large server. So don't feel like you need to make an instant impact. Being a part of the community is more than enough, and we just hope that we are able to provide good events, and we hope that you join our large ones as well because they're always fun. To my staff, you guys are the reason that we operate our flights. I mean, it's yeah, you are the key roles up there. So without you, of course, with many of you, I haven't seen face to face, or like I haven't, of course, like connected with you on a voice channel or via messages, but definitely thank you to you all, and I'm very grateful for your commitment, especially. And even though it's not a high role, I respect you all very much. My management. Okay, so yeah, this is management and board now. My management, um, yeah, management. I definitely respect you tons. There are so many of you that offer such a unique perspective, and because I'm able to connect with you a lot easier based on our channel access and everything. Yeah, I've seen a lot of you, and I can acknowledge also the growth that a lot of you have come by with your journeys on Air Canada. I'm so pleased that you've been able to grow as people, and you've been able to utilize your opportunities here at Canada. But I'm also really happy that you've decided to commit time towards the server, and you also see the server the way I do. And so to that, I'm eternally grateful. And to my board, this is like 11 people. Yeah, you guys are insane. I couldn't do any of it properly without you. And yeah, I really hope that after all of this is done, we're able to hop on a call or maybe arrange a meet up and we're just able to chill and just talk about the journey we've all been on. But yeah, you guys are more than colleagues. You're definitely who I'd consider to be my friends. So thank you.
Yeah, me too. Ooh. Round round of applause to Gamo. I also
Dude,
just
that
want
was
to thank you
beautiful.
too, Gamo. I just want to thank you too because you have made PTFS a place where people could decompress. They could hop in from having a bad day in the real life and connect with people. You've really made the community a really you've made the community a better place, and for that I thank you. I thank you a lot, and I bet a lot of people are very thankful for you. So yeah, I just hope you know that you are respected and people appreciate you a lot. And I
Yeah.
respect you and I appreciate you. The fact that you came into my show was a big that was a that was a good thing, and I appreciate you for everything that you've done for the community. I hope you know that.
No, yeah, thank you. No, of course, and I really wish you well with your channel. I really hope it takes off. You are really great at what you do.
Thank you. Everyone, this was Gamo. This was the Tito Talk Show. I hope you guys enjoyed today's segment, and I hope you guys learned from something. And yeah, that wraps it up.